Hi, my name is Jenica Holt Melnick. I'm a physical therapist here at the Hutch Cancer Center. And today my presentation is going to be on cancer-related fatigue in relation to breast cancer survivorship. So what we hope to have you learn in this module is the difference between what weakness and fatigue is, specifically what cancer-related fatigue is, how it can be combated, and then also what energy conservation is. And then the last point is just what resources are available for you. So first, to just define the difference between weakness and fatigue. So weakness is defined as the state or condition of lacking strength. It often feels like you need extra effort to move a part of the body or the entire body. And it can be associated with loss of muscle strength. Sometimes weakness is why patients undergoing cancer treatment can feel fatigued. And then fatigue, the definition itself is extreme tiredness resulting from mental or physical exertion or illness. And it often feels sort of all-encompassing and can last even when a person seems to be getting the adequate amount of sleep. So then specifically, what is cancer-related fatigue? So cancer-related fatigue is different from the fatigue you feel in daily life. And it's sort of different from just feeling tired. It's, again, as I mentioned, all-encompassing. And it's reported in the literature that about 80 to 100% of people undergoing cancer treatment or who have been diagnosed with cancer report having some sort of cancer-related fatigue. And some of the contributing factors that we've identified that can lead to this is the cancer itself or side effects from treatment. Oftentimes, as patients undergo chemo or radiation, fatigue is a very common symptom that will be reported. Other factors as well include the surgery itself, mastectomy or lumpectomy, stress or worry, which is again common with cancer diagnosis and treatment, changes in activity level, which can occur from treatment itself, and then also changes in blood counts or hormone levels. And again, some of that can be related to the certain treatment you're undergoing, the medications your team has you on, but all of that can contribute to a feeling of fatigue. Oftentimes, patients describe feeling very weak or drained or washed out. And this type of cancer-related fatigue, it often interferes with the usual day-to-day functions of life. One thing to note is that rest might help for a short amount of time, but it usually, unfortunately, doesn't take the fatigue completely away. So then how can it be combated? And this sort of feels counterintuitive, but actually physical activity and exercise can help manage fatigue. Some other things to kind of take note of is creating regular rest and sleep routines. So limiting naps to about 1 to 2 hours, we still want patients having a normal sort of schedule for sleep. And so making sure your naps are short to allow for a full night's rest of sleep if you can is ideal. The other thing that's helpful is if you have family members or friends who can support you while you undergo treatment, delegating as much as possible to them can just take some of the tasks off your plate and give you more energy for other things. Postponing non-essential activities kind of goes hand in hand with this. A lot of times there's a lot of appointments that patients have to go through as they're undergoing treatment. So making sure you save space for those appointments and maybe postponing other things that don't need to be gotten to that week. The other thing that can help, because sometimes fatigue is just part of your day-to-day sort of symptoms, is keeping a diary or just like a daily log that kind of helps you track when you might feel more fatigued. Sometimes there's a pattern. Sometimes the fatigue can happen around chemo infusions, or sometimes there's a pattern throughout the day. But if you're able to identify when that fatigue might be happening, you can plan your activities according to that sort of diary or log that you've kept. And then what is energy conservation? So this sort of goes hand in hand with the last slide, but it's sort of deliberately planned management of one's personal energy resources in order to prevent depletion. And so some of the strategies which were mentioned in the prior slide, but continued on this slide, is to take rest breaks throughout the day. Giving yourself a little bit of grace and just understanding that your days might look a little bit different as you undergo cancer treatment or are recovering from cancer treatment. Again, exercise, engaging in light activities such as daily walks can definitely help combat fatigue. And then avoid overexertion by planning activities such as exercise, visits, or trips when you're feeling most rested and energetic. And again, going back to sort of that diary, that's a nice, helpful tool to help just sort of stratify when when you might have more energy and when you might feel a little bit more fatigued. And then if possible, if you can arrange your household so that most activities can be done on one floor, it's helpful to decrease the amount of time you have to go up and down stairs or move around the house, which can take a lot of energy out of a person. So just trying to think or plan ahead or have your family members help you organize your home so that it's easier to access. And then the last slide here just talks about what resources are available to you. So a referral to physical therapy, a referral to us can, it can help with exercise prescription and also helping you come up with an individualized program based around your specific needs and what cancer treatment or what your treatment plan looks like. Another great tool is we recently were joined by our physiatrist, Dr. Hannah O. So she is a specialist. She has a lot of knowledge about oncology treatment and patients undergoing through cancer treatment. But she also has a very specific knowledge about the sequelae that can come from cancer treatment and specifically related to musculoskeletal involvement or injuries. And so she's a really great resource that we use quite regularly to have patients just check in with her. So we're making sure all of your needs are addressed. And then another resource is integrative medicine. So they are experts that provide recommendations and interventions in mind-body medicine, such as acupuncture and also naturopathic medicine. And they're a great resource to sort of address some of the symptoms that can come up during and after cancer treatment. So we hope that answered a lot of your questions about cancer-related fatigue, and thanks for listening to my presentation. Here are my references. Thanks.